In the early days, he spent a lot of time with his grandparents. They lived one floor up in a tenement on the Hawk Hill. In the morning, they got to see his grandfather in a small hut in the graveyard where he kept watch while nothing moved. On some days, they'd stop above the railway yards and sit and just gaze at the trains. They'd walk slowly, looking at where all the railings had been taken down. He'd heard they needed them to melt them down for iron during the war. And he wondered why they didn't just rip them off and use them as spears to throw at each other. Then he'd watch the old man as he shaved and got ready to go out. Do I need to talk everything out? Only 2 songs away from your house. Love never had a reason before. So what you wanna know if it never had a reason before? What you trying to make sense for? What you trying to make sense for? Just before the decade changed, he took a long rail journey into England. It was early August and he went with his grandfather to join the family on holiday. The slow summer train wound its way south over the Tay and Forth valleys as he got talking to a traveller about life in other parts. The traveller told him about playing football in Glasgow and hurting his skin on the ashes and red blades. As the carriage grew warmer, his head began to hurt and he stopped talking with his grandfather. He tried to cheer the boy up. After a while, the boy felt bad about ignoring the old man. To talk everything out. Only 2 songs away from your house. Love never had a reason before. So what you wanna know if it never had a reason before? What you trying to make sense for? What you trying to make sense for? In the early days, she was someone who lived nearby. One day she got his eye from across the hall as an orchestra was playing. None of the musicians or the audience could distract her from keeping looking. And outside in the square, he kept trying to find her. Years later, he received a letter from her daughter. She'd moved with her family to Australia, and now they'd lost her mother. She recalled a conversation she'd had with her as she lay dying, which brought him to mind. So she wrote telling him about how her life had gone since that day at the concert hall. Oh, never gotta talk everything out. Only 2 songs away from your house. Love never had a reason before. So what you wanna know if it never had a reason before? What you trying to make sense for? What you trying to make sense for? Sometimes all memories seem to get lost. It's like they're on fire and even trying to get back there is pointless. Looking back at it now, it seems there was 2 kinds of people. Who you wanted to be and never were, and the good ones you ignored for too long and it was too late. One day an older boy came up to him and looked him up and down. Returning to his crowd, they all laughed like crows as the older boy ridiculed the kid. He remembered that day for the rest of his life, and from that time on, he only ever wanted to join the laughing crowd of crows. Never gonna talk everything out. Only 2 songs away from your house. Love never had a reason before. So what you wanna know if it never had a reason before? What you trying to make sense for? What you trying to make sense for? When he first fell in love, he was at a distance. He'd follow her miles behind on the road, but close enough to see how her head moved. He liked the fact she seemed so content just walking by herself every morning. And all that time, he never once caught up with her. One day he told her all this as he sat up and watched the sunrise over the meadows. One day found out he wasn't the only one who walked there with her. And it hurt like hell when she left him on one of those slow journeys. Somehow her feet just carried on, and her head moved that way it seemed a million times before.